going on, guys? My name is Matt. I wanted to do a video here talking to you today about what type of company that you think that you should join if you are a medical sales applicant, because I know some people are into different things. They want to sell different things and they don't really just kind of know all about which company offers. So I wanted to do a deep dive on that and tell you about some things that you should be looking for. If you're new to the channel, my name is Matt. I'm a med sales manager. I've been in med sales for probably about 4 years or so. And then if you are returning, thanks for obviously, returning into all this and supporting me through this. It's the only way that I'm, consistently growing in this. So thank you very much. So there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the size of the company that you would think to join. Large companies versus small companies and distributorships do have a little bit of different variables attached to them. I did just want to explain what a distributorship is. For anyone that does not know, it's a company, so it could be just someone's LLC that has a particular relationship with a physician or a parent company. So that distributor sells the product for the parent company to physicians. So just think of it like a middleman in a given situation. What I wanted to talk about first is actually some of the reasons that a larger company might interest you a little bit more. So larger companies typically have more resources associated to them. They are a little bit more corporate, meaning that, you're going to have a direct manager. They're going to have someone that they report to directly and so up the chain until you essentially reach the CEO. And that's going to be very concrete, very well-grounded, very well guidelined. Typically at a larger company, this is going to include more corporate training. So that is probably going to start you more at the bottom and you're going to be working your way up. And then the last thing on the list is going to be the opportunity for growth at a bigger company. So this is dependent on your company, on your territory, because for me specifically, when I worked at a larger company, there wasn't that much of a growth opportunity because the company was so big already that the growth opportunities were kind of hard to come by, which ultimately means that you make less money. With a smaller company, it's a little bit less corporate, a little bit less training. Things are a little bit more relaxed as it is, which I do prefer more, but there are some people that need a little bit more hand-holding, a little bit more coaching, etc., in order for them to really develop. But I think working for a small company has great opportunities of growth as well, because they don't typically have all of the market share like some of the bigger companies might, and that means that there is more opportunity to sell your product. So if you're thinking more along the lines of service, definitely think bigger company because they are, bigger for a reason. Their products are amazing, so they probably sell themselves. So they probably just need someone in there to service that account. And if you're looking at a smaller company, you might be more the person that's doing a lot of the selling. So your experience may vary, but this is at least just what I've seen in this for 4 years. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was startups. I get this question a lot. They're asking about startups specifically and how they feel, how I feel about them. I've seen a lot of people make it really big with startups. It all just depends on the product that you're selling and how many competitors that you have. And how innovative your product is. I actually know someone specifically that's in a startup. It's tech sales, not med device, but he's actually the only person in the country that can actually sell the thing, and he also goes international as well. So I mean, he's responsible for the whole entire country. He takes trips all the time, everywhere. Company expenses paid, and he has a great lifestyle in a startup because he ended up getting the opportunity to do that, and it flourished. Now, there are also people on the other side of the spectrum that do startups and, they don't have a lot of money associated to them. I mean, the startup itself doesn't have a lot of money and funds to start with, so a lot of the reps are on a pretty short leash. They need to sell things right away in order to stay employed. So do your research. That's the number one thing if you are planning on entering a startup, because some of them can be amazing, but it also does have like a pretty tight risk versus reward ratio. Now, the next thing, and definitely the most important in my opinion, is what you're actually going to be selling, because a lot of people don't really realize that there is differences in medical device sales. There's operating room reps, there are durable medical equipment reps, people that just sell tissues, people that sell capital equipment such as robots, MRI machines, etc. And they don't realize that most of these are, if not all of them, are completely different. So if you like being with surgeons in the operating room, definitely look along the lines of being an implant rep. These are people that do screws, rods, cages, plates, nails, anything that a surgeon would want to put in a case that is company owned and they haven't bought, they'll be looking to you. If you want a little bit more time in your day, look at durable medical equipment roles. That's more of like your bread and butter sales rep roles. A lot of the times you're walking into accounts, trying to do lunches, cold calls, etc. And then it comes down to just servicing the patients for those devices after surgery. Also, if you wanted to do, capital equipment purchase, this could be something that, it is a long sales cycle. You wait a while to actually sell a machine, but it's a lot more selling. So these are things that you need to factor in as far as when you're thinking about what medical device sales role that you want to go in, because they are all massively different. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is compensation plans. These are all going to vary, so I definitely can't say that I know, everything about how your comp plan is going to be rolled out. However, definitely before you sign your name on any piece of paper, know how it's going to be paid, how much it's going to be paid. Try and figure out exactly what your biweekly paycheck is, bonus structures, etc. Because this is something that I didn't do that well on my first couple jobs, and I was just excited to have a med device role, and it ended up backfiring on me. So definitely do your due diligence and figure out how you're actually paid and when and in what type of structure, so that there are no surprises there. A lot of the times, this is just a generalization, but a lot of the times, bigger companies will actually pay you less than some of the smaller companies or startups. And that is because the bigger companies just have so much of that business already that they can afford to pay you less to get really the same amount of work done. And that's also because they have really great brand name to them and recognition that, pretty much everyone wants to work for them already. So they aren't really, desperate to hire someone. So that's my 2 cents on trying to figure out like what type of med device role that you should be in. Definitely looked on all of those, reflect on all of those. And if you have any questions, just let me know.